Hey everybody, Arturo, Evan, Johnny back again for another episode of ESPOOKYS Talk.
Hey. Welcome back, everybody.
Motherfather. We can't talk at the same time.
Okay.
I do the intro.
Yes, this is true.
You're my brujaha.
Brujaha. Brujihi. Welcome back to episode 4, part 2.
It's the final countdown. Hey, everybody out there. Welcome back to the next episode of
ESPOOKYS Talk.
That's right. I am Arturo, and I am here with the brujaha of all brujahas, Eva.
The one and only. And we've already set the mood here during our podcast, ESPOOKYS Talk, by lighting a candle to protect us as we navigate through this generational curse.
Oh my goodness. You said it, because we are going back, guys. We are going back. This is episode 4,
part 2.
And let me tell you, if you didn't listen to part 1, I don't even know. Stop. Hit stop right now. Go back. You got to hear it. Someone sent in an email with some information about a generational curse, a curse that started for his great-great-grandfather, and it's all the way down to him, his family, his son. It's ridiculous. Totally nuts. And I think that you guys should head back and listen to that episode and then start this one up, because right now we're going to get back to Big Ben and exactly what's been going on with his son, Joseph.
So my son, Joseph, who is almost, everybody says he's my twin, started to have bad dreams. But his were really worse, because his impacted the environment where I experienced like spirits outside in his bedroom around him, not just in his dreams. So he had super strong nightmares. But I'm telling you that it was almost like the spirits came out of his dreams or nightmares into his environment. Mm-hmm. So I will give you one story, because there's plenty. We go to Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. My son's like 7 or 8 years old, and Homie the Clown was a thing back then, right? Homie the Clown was a thing, and so he don't play that. He loved Homie the Clown. So we're at the boardwalk, and you know how they have those boardwalk games, and so our whole family's like playing this game. We probably put $100 into this game trying to win this Homie the Clown. Finally, we get it. Finally, we win it, right? And so everybody's happy. He's in the backseat of the car. We're driving home. We get home. And so immediately he takes it to his room and he sets it on the ground, like if it's sitting on the carpet by his bed, right? And so I'm coming around the corner from our kitchen into his bedroom, and I just see that Homie the Clown sit there, and like something about it was just odd. Like I remember getting it at Santa Cruz Boardwalk, and when I seen it sitting on the ground, something changed. Like it looked different, right? It didn't look like a doll anymore. It was the strangest thing ever. I got a really sick feeling, but I ignored it, unfortunately.
Sorry, everybody, but we have to take a quick pause, because as I'm looking here at Arturo, and we're both a little nervous that this doll has come to life, I have to remind all of you guys that in episode 4, part 1, Big Ben is sharing his story, and it's all spiritual. So in case you haven't figured it out, when you go to sleep at night and you dream you go into the spirit world, your soul leaves your body.
Yeah.
Right? And now with his son, it's come into the physical world.
That's crazy. Manifestation into the physical world. I can't.
That's like another level of fear.
And a Homie the Clown doll? I mean, that's kind of freaky all on its own, right? Because Homie don't play that.
Right. And the fact that they took so long to try to get this, that should have been a sign from the universe of leave it alone.
Leave it alone. Come on, Big Ben.
If you see the ESPOOKYS, leave it alone.
Leave it alone. Oh, man. That manifestation, I think, is insane. And it continues on. And when I was in the room when he was telling this story and he got to the point where it's actually coming into the physical world, that's when there was already a shift in the energy, but it got thick. It was thick. I wonder if, I don't know.
And it's beyond the veil. It's
Yes.
the witching hour.
Yes.
You know, that's the time where these things are going to come in and possess things. Essentially, that doll was possessed by something.
See, now I can't go back to Santa Cruz
Well,
because that's where you got it from. And you know what's really kind of crazy is,
oh, please tell us.
I'm telling you guys, everyone out there, I myself, we live in California. I've been to Santa Cruz a million times. And there's energy in the beach boardwalk that's just bizarre. It's bizarre. And it's kind of dependent on, for me at least, it was dependent on time of day. It was dependent on time of year. Because I've been there in the summertime at 1 o'clock in the afternoon where we just running around having a good time. Yay! There's no big deal. But I have also been there like in the evening time as you're driving by and you just kind of get out of the car to go walk around. Nothing's open.
Right.
And that's when it's the creepiest, right? Nothing's open. All these different energy, all these things from either, is it the people that loved going there and it went gone, but I don't know what. But sometimes it creeps me out.
That's interesting that you say, because for me, it's the other way around.
Really?
When I go late at night and everything is calm, that's the best time to meditate there. And you get to feel all the vibrations of the people who have been there all day, or if somebody was sad and went to be happy there, you could feel that essence.
I wonder if it has to do with the mood I was in when I was there.
Oh, I think
Maybe I was bringing my own energy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it was attracting whatever, and that's why it kind of creeped me out. Because to tell you the truth, I've been there before when I wasn't at my peak of happiness.
Right. So you were in that state of mind. So here's the thing with water. Water is a reflection time. It's a reminder. So if you listen to ocean waves, they'll calm you
That makes
into a
sense.
meditative state.
Yes.
And you'll start to kind of have a inner realization of what it is that you need to address.
Everyone out there, I got to tell you, my brujaha of all brujajas, every time I learn something new all the time. Because everything I say all the time, that things confuse me. Things happen to me that are confusing and I don't understand. And you actually bring clarity. You make sense of things that have happened to me. Now, I don't know. I can't thank you enough. This is why I do this. You're pretty awesome.
Oh, thank you. And then
Johnny, you're awesome too.
I appreciate
Because
it.
no one knows that you're sitting here, but you are. And
we
I
need 'em.
appreciate you.
Very true. For our listeners, I want you to take notes and think of a time that maybe you've dreamt water. What did the water look like? It'll tell you your state of mind.
Wow.
If it's clear, then you're in a clear mindset.
Cool. Well,
But now let's get back to Big Ben and Homie the Clown.
Homie the Clown.
So, anyways, that night, we all go to bed. We have a regular bedtime. The boys were young; they went to bed at 8:30. My wife and I, we went to bed shortly thereafter. And as we're asleep, I keep hearing like a metal sound. I don't have anything to hit here, but it's like metal hitting metal, almost like making a bell sound. And I'm like, what is that sound? Like, what is that? And so I think it's my son. I'm being lazy and I shout, "You better go to bed. It's already past your bedtime. You better go to bed." And so it quiets down for a little bit. And then a few minutes later, the teen. I wish I could make the sound for you because hearing it in my head just gives me chills on the back of my neck because it's like I can remember it distinctly. And once again, I give him one more chance. I'm like, go to bed. So anyways, I hear it again, and I'm like, I had enough. And so there's a shared restroom between our master bedroom and their bedroom. So I turn the light on to my bedroom, which would kind of illuminate a little bit of their bedroom. And so as I'm walking in, I don't even look up. I actually am like, because it's dark, you're watching where you're stepping. Sure. And it is a kid's bedroom. So I'm like, I don't want to step on anything. Yeah. So as I'm walking in, the first thing I see is Homie the Clown. But he's not sitting where he was sitting before. Yes. So he was sitting against the back wall, But as I walked into the room in the dark, he was sitting against the door nearest to the kitchen, almost like, if you want to say, the exit, right? Like the living room, the dining room, like to the rest of the house. He was sitting on that wall. And I can tell you, I don't remember my son playing with him that day. So how he got from the far wall to the other wall, I don't know. That freaked me out enough.
That freaks me out right now.
To make me go back to bed. Like I'm like, at this moment, I don't hear a bell. Like, I don't hear anything.
Like,
I'm going back to bed because, like, I don't know if I'm dreaming. What the hell's going on? Let me go back to sleep. Maybe I'll wake up and I'll be good. So I lay back down, and shortly thereafter, the pinging starts again. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I have to see what is going on. It may be something wrong or whatever. So I turn the same light on because I don't want to turn the full light on. Partly because I don't want to wake my son up, and the other part is I surely don't really want to see whatever the hell is making this noise, you know?
Why I would turn on the light.
Yeah. So anyways, this time I'm not even. Now I'm scared. Yeah. So this time is different because I'm like walking into the room, and before I was looking down because I was afraid of what I was going to step on. This time I didn't want to look down because I was thinking in my head, if Homie the clown is not sitting where I just frickin' left him, then I'm running out of this damn house, and my family and my kids are on their own. I'm going to wait outside and hope that Homie leaves me alone. So I didn't look down. I looked directly up because my son slept on bunk beds, and he slept on the top bunk. And as I came around the corner of the restroom to look up at his bed, he was up on all fours. And I don't know where the hell he got scissors from, but he was staring right at me. So I don't know if he knew exactly where I was going to walk in or where my eyes were going to be, but his eyes were looking right at me, and not even like responsive to me, like hi dad or hey dad or I'm sorry dad or don't hit me dad or whatever. He's just looking right at me. The scissors are open, and we had a crucifix that we had on his bed, a gold crucifix that he wore during the day, but we put it on his bed to protect him from dreams. That obviously it didn't work. And so he has the scissors around the necklace. And as I walked in and I said Joseph, right when I said his name, he closed the scissors and cut the crucifix off of his bed. Yeah, that I did not want to touch him. I did not want to say anything to him because I don't believe it was him. I didn't want to mess with him, and I didn't want to agitate whatever it was.
Man. Sorry to interrupt again, guys, but I'm telling you, Ben and his family they've gone through it, and to have your son. To walk into your son's room, someone you love, someone you've seen grow and things, and you walk in expecting to see your son, and you see him, but it's not him. He's at the bed and he's cutting the crucifix chain. I don't know what I would do.
Nothing, because you don't know what first you have to realize what's going on, right? You gotta first process it. Are you asleep? Are you seeing things? Is this really happening?
That's just tense.
And so I think once you become aware, then it's the safety thing. Like, oh man, I gotta protect my son from himself.
That's crazy. Again, it's confusing. Because if I go in there and I see someone and I don't know what's going on, and he's staring at me back and he's kind of saying, I don't know. That's a lot.
No, it is. And
now that he's older, in his older state and going through PTSD and going through all of these things, just that emotional roller coaster, it's crazy. It's crazy because I don't know. I guess
if you remember from episode 4, part 1, I told you that with generational curses, the energy comes from the person, the individual's fear.
Yes.
And that's the curse itself.
You did say that.
I did. And so do you see how for Ben, it's spiritual and he spiritually gets rid of it for himself, right? But it's because it's his belief.
So Ben's, I guess, curse, his nightmares, his paralysis, he couldn't move.
Right.
What does that say about Ben?
It means that he doesn't like to feel hopeless.
Oh.
He doesn't like to feel hopeless. He's a person who, when he feels hopeless, that's his biggest fear. So he overcame it. He made himself be like, no, I got this. He persevered. That's the word I'm looking for.
And I think he said that his sister, that hers were blurred and that she could hear intense sound but couldn't see what was chasing coming after her.
See, when you tell me that, I hear in my mind that she was either afraid of the dark or the unknown, or both. Because people that are afraid of the dark, it's really of what's in the dark. They're not afraid of the dark itself. It's what lurks in the dark.
Which is the unknown. Wow, that's spookies, guys. You just, I got chills. I got chills right now because, I don't know, my fears are craziness like spiders. But to have it be that intense, and to have something placed on you where you're going to experience this every night, I can't imagine the heaviness, everything that they're going through.
And for someone who did experience traumatic things, the fears only grow. So you have to find something where you get to overcome them. Yes. And it's not easy because no one's spiritual journey is the same. And that's what makes it so difficult to overcome.
Man, that would cause some trauma to me. I'm telling you. Well, I guess we're going to go back in, guys. This is going to be the final piece. Let's hear the rest of Ben's story. So here it is, everybody. Here's Ben.
So I know you guys think like I'm wrong, but I went to bed.
Tell the truth.
I went to bed and I just closed my eyes. I don't think I slept that night, but I closed my eyes and I waited for sunlight. As soon as sunlight came out, then I went back into my son's room and went to go check on him. And when I woke him in the morning, it was as if nothing ever happened. Like he was asleep. I woke him up. He said good morning like he usually does. And he interacted with me how I wanted him to interact with me in the evening when I had gone into his bedroom. And so it was very sad for me to know that the curse had carried all the way down to my son Joseph. I could tell you right now, I could not tell you because I wasn't really paying attention where Homie the Clown was. All I could tell you is I immediately grabbed Homie the Clown and I put him in my car and we drove down to the dump. So in Fresno, there's this dump on the west side of town. I did not want to throw him in the trash in my house. I did not want to throw him in the trash, in the trash cans in the alley. I literally took him all the way to the dump in Fresno, and I paid to get into the dump, and then I threw him into the landfill.
Ben, if you tell me that Homie showed back up at your house, I swear I'm leaving right now.
No. I mean, believe it or not, I swear to you, believe it or not, it was a thought in my mind, like, what am I going to do if that doll shows up at our house in some way, shape, or form? I thought about burning it, but I always believe like within that doll might have been a spirit. Yep. So if you burn it, then the smoke becomes a spirit and then disattaches to something else. So I didn't want to take the chance. I just wanted that damn thing out of my house. So that's what I did with that. In terms of my son, we tried to do the same thing, which was we took him down to the church and my wife and I knelt beside him and prayed for him. He did not have the same experience that I did, I think partly because he was not doing the praying, right? He was too young to do the prayer and to have the experience I had. So even us praying beside him for a long period of time, for over an hour, didn't really see a difference in him. And again, his experience, I don't even think he was aware of what was happening. I don't think that he knew that his body had been taken.
The youngsters are so vulnerable, to accepting of those things.
Yeah. So I think the core door was the nightmares, and then that's how they got into our home and got into the other things in our house, like Homie the Clown and stuff like that. So I talk to my son now. Like I would like to say that it's a happy ending, that he didn't have nightmares anymore. I think my son learned how to cope with them. I think that he was also a military veteran who was in combat and suffered severe PTSD. I believe that the curse is part of his PTSD, and sadly, like I think the experience of being in church and praying and not being saved in terms of his nightmares turned him off to the church. So he never went back to the church. So, you know, I feel bad because like all of these series of unfortunate events have just left him in limbo. Like, because the prayer didn't work for him, he's like, why would I believe in God if you guys prayed and it didn't cure me, right? And I try to explain to him it needs to come from you, but he's already lost because he's like, it shouldn't take me. I was a child, so my parents should be able to pray for me and it work. And because it didn't, then I lost faith. And then, you know, you become a military soldier and you see all of this death and negativity around you, and then you go further and like, how can there be a God if people are dying and all of this mistreatment? And then you go into coming back from war and suffering PTSD, seeing, you know, your best friends being killed in front of you, and having nightmares from that. But within those nightmares, having the nightmares from the family curse, from your grandmother, the curse of your it's his great-great-grandfather's curse that is now impacting him. So right now, he is 34 years old and barely seeing a therapist. And if you recall, I told you I went to go see a therapist and it did nothing for me, but I'm at least happy that he's seeing a therapist. My hope is that he reconnects, makes a connection with his spiritual side and finds finds God again and is able to do the prayer that I did, and then that actually eliminates his nightmares. The story goes on, but I have to find out about it. And what I mean by that is that son has a son who lives in San Antonio. So unfortunately, that son, because of his experiences, because of his nightmares, although he was married for a short time and had a son, sadly they divorced. And so he came back home and his wife and child stayed in San Antonio, Texas. So my grandson is now 15 years old, and I have not had a conversation with him in terms of his experiences with nightmares and things like that. But I will tell you that without any kind of prompting, without any kind of encouragement, my grandson, who's 15 years old, has begun to read the Bible. So that's why I even want to talk to him more, because I want to go to him and say, like, why did you start reading the Bible, right? And if this guy tells me, Grandpa, because I've been having nightmares, it's gonna freaking blow my mind, because then it's his, so I'm his grandfather, so it's my great-grandfather, so it's like his quadruple the curse from his great-great-great-great-grandfather from Biola, California, where he had the interaction with the La Llorona, right? And so when people bring up that story, like, it freaks me out, because people usually laugh at that story, and I'm like, please don't laugh, because that truly impacted my family, and to this day does, until my 34-year-old son is saved in some way, shape, or form, and that I find out that my 15-year-old grandson is saved. But again, I have 5 granddaughters, I have 1 grandson, and so as long as I live, I will wait until they're old enough to have this conversation, because I don't want to ask them when they're 7 or 8 years old. But at least when I see something that allows me to have this conversation, to check on them. But I hope and pray there comes a day where I discover something that I could do to eliminate this curse from my entire family. But sadly, I have not found what that is. It's person by person by person, generation by generation by generation. But I hope that I find something that would that would protect my entire family. But sadly, I haven't read anything that would protect a family. There's only things out there to protect you or individuals, So that's my struggle.
Man. I mean, crazy. Crazy is not even the right word. Because let me tell you guys, I was in that room when he gave his story. And I felt the energy shift. Everything that he said was just so intense. And you can see the love that he has for his family and what he's trying to accomplish. Because, I see things all the time that I want to fix for my wife, for my dog. You know what I mean? I just want to do things to make their lives better, but to have the burden of trying to solve a generational curse so that your kids, your grandkids don't go through that. I can't. That's crazy.
Yeah, but he's still living his truth. As we mentioned before, his biggest fear is being hopeless and, feeling the need of wanting to conquer this. And it made him courageous and strong. And now he has the willpower to go and help others as he sees fit.
That's heroic.
Very heroic.
He's a hero.
And I think it's interesting because he's preparing as he's going to have this conversation.
Oh, can you picture that?
Because the bloodline will continue on.
Eva, can you picture that? Like sitting your grandkid down and go, Mijo, the reason you're having all of these problems is because back in 1945, La Llorona attacked my mother.
Right. It sounds made up. It sounds like you're telling a story before bedtime.
My goodness.
But it's not. It's life. These things exist.
Yes.
And so I feel that he is going to do it. And there are times where certain children will be born, where they have the ability to break generational curses.
Ooh.
But it's very rare.
Wow.
But if somebody believes, I think it could happen.
The belief and the strength to believe and have that manifest.
As someone who practices with, and essentially magic is energy manipulation, right? As someone who practices with that, I believe that day will come and that generational curse will be broken.
Ben, if you're out there listening, I believe that too. I believe your day is going to come when you're going to feel at peace because you will be the person who brought peace to your family. I really feel that Ben is going in that direction. You know what I mean? Like, I think he has not just the belief, but he has the will. And he has the intelligence to know that there's something out there. That there's something out there that's just, that needs to be addressed.
Right.
And he's not afraid to address it.
And having that willpower and putting in that strength, that inner strength, that spiritual strength into the grandchildren to come, right? Wow. That's a starting point.
Heroic. That's my word of the day for Ben. Heroic. Anyways, let me tell you what's coming up.
What's coming up?
I'm glad you asked.
Are you excited about it? Because I am.
Let me look.
I'm feeling both thrilled.
Yeah, I'm excited. You guys, I've been talking about my family as well. And there's a lot of things that goes on that confuse me and is a little strange. And I feel that I have a spiritual or some type of a connection with things that is just unknown to me. One of the big things in my family is that my tias, on my mom's side, they have the don. They have the gift. And she has invited us. She has invited us into her home to hear some of these stories. Some of these stories from Agalía, Michoacán, where she herself have experienced things that's just, man, it's going to be deep.
They feel unbelievable.
Yes.
I to this day, have experienced spirits and things that I cannot explain. And it feels unbelievable, but I witnessed them.
That's crazy.
So I get it. I understand.
Well, she invited us to her home. We're going to go ahead. We're going to get some stories. We're going to bring them out and we're going to share them with the world, because that's another thing that I feel kind of helps, just the knowledge, the sharing of these stories and how you can overcome. And, people people, you told me when we first started this, that you felt that isolated and that you were thankful for this space. Well, you know what? I think everyone is going to be thankful for this space, that we're going to share these stories. We're going to explore some of spookiness, and we're going to bring it to you. All of you guys, all 5 of you guys listening out there.
I want to add that I'm not special. Like, to be able to see spirits and do all the things that I do, it's not a unique thing. We all have the capability of doing these things.
I think
you have to have the willpower to do it.
I think you're more finely tuned. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel too that I myself have had some experiences, but I don't think I'm a very good flashlight to see in this darkness. And I just think that you are a brighter light. That's how I feel about you, at least.
Oh,
and that's why we're on this journey together. I'm very grateful for you.
Well, thank you. And I think that's because I've worked on it. You know, since I was really young, before I even knew what meditation was, I would meditate.
Wow.
Because that's how I would find my happiness. And I've worked on my aura. And I think it's awesome that you can see my aura shining.
And I do. And Johnny, I see yours too.
Kinda.
Well, everyone out there, it's about getting to that time, so we're going to have to wrap this up. But for all of you out there listening, please remember, tonight, be sure to check under your beds.
Lock your closets and your mirrors.
It's a spooky time.
Oh, you made it to the end of the episode? That's that's weird. Okay. Anyways, my name is Johnny. I edited this episode specifically, so I just wanted to share something with y'all, and that was this little blooper. So enjoy this little takeout. It's on me.
I had to work at Sizzler, man. And everybody came to have dinner there. I'm like, you guys are chumps. You're bringing your girls to Sizzler? This is horrible, man. You can't take a prom date. Everyone out there, you cannot take a prom date someplace where you walk up to the counter and you look at the menu and you order and pay right there and then go to your table. I just feel like it's not fancy enough.
Is that how Sizzler works?
OMG. Have you never been to Sizzler?
I have.
That really is how it works.
That is really how. Want to know how I know? Because when I went to Sizzler to apply for a job, everyone, this is a true story.
You filled out the application from the menu?
No. But I definitely wanted, I was going in to be a busboy. I didn't care, right? So they go there and they give you a little aptitude test and a little test like a written test. And I was like, done. And he looked at me, he was like, get out of here. And he looked at my little test and he's like, oh, you can add. I'm like, well, yeah, I'm a freaking sophomore, going to be a junior, you know? He liked my thinking skills, my problem solving skills so quickly they put me up front to play because I could make change. I'm like, what kind of chumps work at Sizzler? And I got to be the dude up front to make change. I have a face for radio, bro. You don't want me there looking at you before you eat. It's not appetizing. It's not. But, you know.
The first love of my life.
Was it Sizzler?
He worked at Sizzler.
Really?
He worked at Sizzler. He was also good at adding.
First, you're not saying it right. It's Sizzler.